I think that there's a real fatigue in the public sphere for people wanting to participate, but going to meetings where they never get asked what their views are. And if they get asked what their views are, nobody really seems to take those into account. There's no promise of really fully having some control over your own destiny, in a sense.
I guess I'm wondering about decision-making around the really, really hard decisions.
Just generally asking people, what do they feel about their city?
What we have in the development permit process is a series of steps that end to a public hearing where it's quite competitive. And it's not set up in a system whereby people can actually have conversations. It's not a dialogue, it's a broadcast.
I've lived here over 30 years, and I actually can't remember a time when any government official ever asked my opinion.
So we know that there's some real problems, but we also know that a cornerstone of democracy is the idea that citizen participation is essential to good government.
Lots of cities are struggling with these types of scenarios and decision making, and I think that we need to lead and show other people that there are other ways that we can do it.
The promise of dialogue and engagement is that it gives people an opportunity to really set an agenda or to have some control over the agendas that get set in their work or in their communities or in their lives as a whole.
To me, dialogue and deliberation seems like one of the best tools we have to get people really working on an issue in a collaborative way, in a learning-oriented way, in a way that doesn't shy away from the difficulties, but instead embraces them and uses them as opportunities for growing.
And in dialogue and civic engagement, what we're saying is the richest answers to these questions people are posing come when you have a dialogic experience, when you're not responding to one person's position paper and then having a bunch of Q&A, but you're actually in a circle sharing ideas and trying to puzzle out a tough question together. So that's what distinguishes a dialogue process. It's not a consultation where it's a regulatory process responding to a proposal by a proponent. It's much more a discussion around a complex issue on an equal basis.
There are no speakers and no audience. We have presenters and we have participants. You are participants, and that's the key to this.
It opens up all these new doors and perceptions of seeing the world as a place where you can impact, where the individual who participated can actually have an impact on their local government, on the place that they work, on their family, their neighborhood, that they know that what they have to say is valuable, because it is. Because only the people who have the lived experience of an issue, whatever that issue is, can truly know the best way to solve it, often in collaboration with experts. But you certainly can't solve those issues without the people who have the lived experience.
I think we're finding more and more civic engagement that's being structured around the principle of, if it's about us, don't do it without us. So these processes really put that principle on the ground.
The fact that this conversation is happening is a big step. In the 20 years that I've been doing anti-racism work, that we need these constant reminders to bring people together.
Small is big. Sometimes small is powerful. And that's what I think has really come home to me in this study, because when we talk about conversations, we're talking about small things that can make powerful differences, be at the beginning of the first drop that creates this enormous ripple effect.
So it works, but it requires people to be comfortable with uncertainty, with ambiguity, and with having just enough clarity to move forward, rather than say, oh, okay, this is clearly the answer. If we knew where we were going, we would be going there, you know? If we knew how to create wealth and prosperity for everybody and have an environment that was healthy and sustainable, we'd be doing it, and we're not, because we don't know how to get there. And so I think what dialogue does is to bring people together to co-discover ways forward, to learn together about what we should do next, and to stay in relationship with one another. And when we can do that, I think we have all of the groundings for a sustainable way forward, even if we're heading into places where we don't know where we're going.